depending on the day, the hour, the amount of coffee we've had. Every one of us is subject to forgetting things and even people. But as we know, there are different levels. For instance, getting out of your car or getting out to your car without your umbrella, or maybe your office keys or fob, for example. But then there are the bigger items, like remembering your husband's or your wife's or another loved one's birthdays, or maybe a really big one like your wedding anniversary. Those are the biggies. All these situations have something in common: distraction and a focus on something or someone else. This is what Jesus is trying to help the young man understand in today's gospel. The young man has kept the commandments, but is distracted by his possessions. We just recited in the responsorial psalm 4 times, "You have forgotten God who gave you birth." Again, we do this to different degrees and in different ways. It's one thing to get up and be in a hurry and rush out the door and get caught up without making a morning offering or simply thanking God for the day. It's another thing to intentionally block God out when we're faced with temptation and allowing us to go in a different direction that can lead to sin. What's interesting, and I believe helpful, is to pray and reflect on why we sometimes forget the things and the people and even God. And then, what is it that causes us to remember? Sometimes, in terms of distraction, we get behind or overwhelmed and we forget. But when we have a moment of quiet or slowing down of pace or someone who triggers our memory, suddenly we recall that something or that someone. Jesus is always trying to help us to stay on track, to not get too anxious or too lazy. He wants to help us to have a balance in our lives to what is reasonable by understanding what really matters in this life and that will lead to eternal life. The young man in today's gospel helps us remember a really important question. What do we need to do to have eternal life? Jesus is the one that we can and should go to every day to find the answers and to remember what it means to be a child of God who is loved by God and made to love in God's name, beginning at home and then going outward. On this day that we will forget many things and remember many things, may we focus upon the presence of Jesus in our lives, the gift that he has given us of life and those that we are blessed to share it with. May we always remember that he is here for us and that we only need to turn to him when we answer that question. What is it that we may do to have eternal life?